Hi everyone! In this video I will be reviewing some of the hiking gear that I've ordered from China and has actually worked for me. So I hope you all had some really nice holidays and that you're looking forward to the new year. And today I want to talk about cheap and budget alternatives for hiking gear that might be expensive. So as you all know, hiking gear can be really expensive, and usually it costs a lot for a reason. If you can afford this more expensive gear, then you probably should just pay for it and kind of buy once, cry once. But a lot of times you might be on a budget, or you just don't see why some piece of gear should cost so much money. Or you're just starting out with hiking and you don't exactly know what you need or what type of gear you need. So you might consider cheap alternatives for some kind of gear. Before I go any further with this subject, I just want to say that to my mind it is not a responsible form of consumerism to just order cheap things from China. But sometimes you don't have the money to buy this said expensive gear. A lot of the things that are sold in normal regular shops, not specific hiking stores, is also just stuff that's been ordered from China. So again, if you can, you should buy the good quality gear that will last you for years, but if you can't, you could consider buying these cheaper things for now, and by the time you already know what you need, you can get the better version. So, first I'm going to talk about what not to buy from an online retailer from China. I've set myself some rules with online shopping, and I try to live by them. The first one would be that don't buy anything that needs to be fitted, and by this I mean things like clothing or shoes, and for example a pack. Those are the things that I would never order online, even if they're these good quality companies. I would definitely like to try them out somewhere before I buy them. The second thing I wouldn't order from an unknown company is tech or electronics that are expensive. I mean, sure, I can order a bicycle light or a flashlight or something like that, but I wouldn't buy a camera, I wouldn't buy something that's complicated and expensive. And third, I don't buy things that are expensive, and for me the limit is about $50 or 50 euros. If it's under that, I'll consider it. If it's over that, I have to be really certain that it's what I need. Your best source of information is not the product description, although it can be really accurate, but instead it's the reviews and comments and the number of orders. Always pick something that has a lot of positive reviews. Definitely reviews over 4 stars. Read the reviews and make sure it's not some kind of product that is completely unknown and unordered. So now I'll go through some of the items that I have personally ordered and that have worked for me. Most of these items have cost me under 10 euros, so they're really on the cheap side. So the first thing I want to show you is a spork. It's a titanium spork. It is foldable, folds together, and I've had this for a few years now and for a few hikes, and I really love this spork. It's small, it's lightweight, nothing has happened to it yet, it hasn't broken or anything, and this cost me just under 10 euros. Although you can get a titanium spork from your local hiking shop, also it probably won't cost a lot more, but for me it was just saving a little bit of money and getting myself something that I needed. The second item that I got is a knife. This is a foldable, I think it was called a camping knife, and actually this is my third one. Now the reason that I personally don't want to buy an expensive knife is that I lose them all the time. Like I said, this is my third one, and it's a good knife. It's sharp. It's not the sharpest knife. I mean, as far as sharpness goes with knives, this is probably just average. But it's done the job for me, and I'm not using this for anything tough. I'm just using this to cut cheese and to pick mushrooms. So for me, you could of course get a smaller, even cheaper knife if you're just gonna cut cheese, but I like this one in my hand. As far as cookware goes, this is my most recent purchase from China. It is an alcohol stove. It consists of a stove and a collapsible stand, like this. This one cost me around €6, and this one didn't actually have reviews or orders, but since it was really cheap, I decided to risk it and order it. And right now I'm not sure, because this item, it's got like two compartments. It's got the one inside here, and there's another one which I can't access, and it doesn't kind of open. So I'm yet to test this stove and see if it actually works, how does it work, and so on. So maybe I'll end up not using it, but maybe it'll be just enough. When I was choosing the stove, there were a couple of alternatives that were maybe €10, €15, that seemed to have a better design and that did have a lot of positive reviews. So an alcohol stove is definitely something that you can consider ordering if you are on a really tight budget. I've also got a foldable aluminum windshield for the stove, which is also a really nice color, as you can see. It folds together. Somehow it folds together. Yes, yeah, and goes around your stove to protect it from the wind. Now, if you're a truly lightweight hiker and you don't want to spend any extra money on any extra items that you might not really need, you can use something else for a windshield, and maybe you don't even need a windshield, but I thought I would try this out. With this item, I remember that the description was maybe not so accurate, and I really thought it would be a lot taller. As you can see, it's good enough to use with this alcohol stove, but if you have a gas stove that has a tall canister, then it won't work. The other reviews were great, and this feels really nice. It feels like it's high quality, it's not nasty, and I really like it. It's also really pretty. So, what else have I got here? Carabiners. Not for mountaineering, obviously, but for attaching maybe water bottles to your bicycle or whatever. They're good enough, and they cost less than $1. Now I've got a sitting pad, a foldable sitting pad. This is, some hikers consider this a luxury item, but I have heard that it's really nice to have one. And since it weighs next to nothing, I thought I'd have one. And a really popular sitting pad I know is the Thermarest Z-Seat, which costs around €15. This cost me about €1. So again, I decided to try it out. When it arrived, it was packaged a little bit badly, so that you can see it was already a little bit bent, and it's probably not the softest pad, but I think it will work for me, and if it doesn't, I'll just replace it with something better. Now, for next, I have an item that I've purchased, I think about 5 or 6 by now, from China, and I use it daily, and it's essentially a microfiber towel, or a hiking towel, or a sports towel, whatever you want to call it. And these, in a specialized hiking store, they cost around 30 to 40 euros if you want a larger size, and in these online shops they cost again less than 10 euros, less than $10 even. So that's where I get mine, and so far I've been really happy with the quality. There's like no complaints, and this one came even inside a little pouch. so it packs down really small. So yeah, hiking towels is definitely my favorite article to order from an online shop. And essentially I think that it won't matter that much if you go and pay the $40 for it. It will still probably be made somewhere in China, and you're just paying these middle companies. So, another item I purchased for my through hike is a sleeping bag liner. This one was advertised as being a really soft and nice material. Again, it cost under $10. I think it was $5, $6 maybe. A lot of these prices are sale prices, but that's okay, I guess. And when it came, then the material, it's actually synthetic and it's not very nice. It doesn't feel very kind of snuggly, and I don't know if I want to use it at all, but the size was correct, and it has a pillow compartment, and I guess on a really, really hot day you could just use this as a sleeping bag. It has a zipper on the side, and kind of little, like a hood for your pillow, and you can use it as a sleeping bag liner. This weighed in about 250 grams, so it's not very light. Oh my god, I'm running out of battery. But I guess I will try this sleeping bag liner out and see that if I can live with this not very nice material, or maybe I will go and buy a more expensive silk liner or not use one at all. Another item you might want to use in your camping kitchen is a foldable water container. And now this is clearly a luxury item for a serious through hiker, but if you're just going camping somewhere, or maybe you're going with your bike, and you want a really convenient way to collect water, then this water container cost me about $2, I guess, no more. I don't know if I'm going to take this with me or if I'm going to use it, but I think it holds about 2 or 3 liters of water, and if I am going to use it, I thought maybe I'll want to wash my clothes in this, or wash my hair, or just you know, collect a water and be able to wash my things away from the water source. And this would make a really convenient way to do so. It did come with a little stuffed sack, and it stuffs down to pretty small, and it doesn't weigh a lot. So this would be, if I take this with me on my through hike, it'll be a little luxury item, but if I don't, I'll just use this maybe for trips where weight doesn't really matter that much. Another item that I bought for my canoe trips, here is a waterproof bag for your phone, and although it looks really cheap and really simply made, well, it was cheap, then it has worked for me. It's got, it's basically a Ziploc that rolls down, and you can secure it like this. And the film, you can use your smartphone through this film also, so you can still have a phone. We've broken a couple of these, but as I said, they were really cheap, and it's not a surprise. But they have held out all the water. I tested this in a tub before I took it out on a hike, and nothing came through for hours. Everything was still dry, and yeah, if you just need a cheap alternative for this, then you can use it. If you're worried about your iPhone or other kind of expensive phone, then you can get something that's better quality. And finally, I have here a hammock. And this is not exactly a hammock you would take on a through hike. This is quite heavy, but this is maybe something that you would want to hang in your garden. It doesn't have a bug netting, it doesn't have anywhere to attach an underquilt or none of the fancy stuff. It's just a hammock. Blue, comes with these straps and a carabiner, and the stuff sack's actually attached to this bag, so it's one piece. This one cost me slightly more, about 25 euros, and I bought it to try out whether I even like a hammock. And as I said, I'd like to have a hammock in my garden, and this one is a 2 people king size one. I don't know if it's actually going to support the weight of 2 European adults, but again, it's a good alternative. What else to consider when you buy these cheap alternatives? Whether you order them online or you just go to your local department or hardware store and buy your cheap hiking items from there, then, as I said, these cheap alternatives are not a form of responsible consumerism, and that means that it's probably not good for the environment as well to buy something that's cheap and falls apart quickly. If you want to be environmentally conscious but still purchase some of these cheap products, then I would consider thinking about what you're buying and what it's made of and how it's made. Like, for example, if you buy items that are made from metal, like this spork here, then this can be recycled pretty good. You know, it's metal. There's virtually nothing else here. But if you're buying something like this cheap tripod, did I show it? I didn't. If you're buying something like this cheap tripod, then it's got lots of materials and it's got lots of parts and it's made of plastic, and maybe this is not a good thing. Maybe you should buy one that's also made of metal and that's a little bit more high quality. So if you're still trying to be a responsible consumer but you're on a tight budget and you want to order some of these things, then just consider it that you buy something that can be recycled easily, like items made from metal, or things that don't fall apart easily. This is a bad example. This is going to break after a couple of hikes and then you're just going to throw it away and create more waste. But this hiking towel, you can use this for years without nothing happening to it. So I urge you to try and be a responsible consumer in every way, but don't let your restrictions stop you from taking your hike and going on these adventures that you want to go on. Just, you know, try to make the best with what you have. So that's it for today. This was my review about items purchased from China. If you have anything that you've bought that's worked for you and what you think is a good choice and also can be ordered online without much worry, then you can share your knowledge in the comments below. In the meantime, I wish you an awesome new year and lots of cool future hikes. And if you found any value in this video, go on and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so I can make some more cool videos for you to watch, and see you all next time.